All right, so for the Q&A section, a first question that I was asked was, do you think it is smart to use credit from brokers? Now, as some of you may know, some brokers match your deposit. So some of them, when you deposit like $100, they would give you an additional $100. So that is where this question is coming from. Now, my advice on that one is it's really a tricky one because what happens is this. When
We back
you
for
when you accept the credit from the broker, what
oh, you get
happens is that it gives you extra leverage. So therefore you can enter trades with a much larger lot size. This can be good and it can be bad. I personally don't do it. When I just started to trade, I usually do it, and I realized that it wasn't doing me any good because back then I funded my account with $500, and when I funded it with $500, it showed me that I had $1,000. I'm like, okay, this is good. So when I entered using a lot size based off of $1,000 that I have, my account couldn't manage the drawdowns, especially if I'm trading more than one pair. It is good though if you understand that it is just a credit to increase your leverage to enter a trade using a slightly larger lot size than what you would have normally used following proper risk management. So it's really a give and take. If you have problems as it relates to discipline, self-discipline, or self-control, then I would say to stay away from the credit, because at the end of the day, it's not like you can actually withdraw the credit either. So it's really no big deal. I would just say take your time and grow your account to where you want it to be.
Also, I noticed sometimes when you take the credit, oh, depending on the broker, didn't mean to cut you off. They won't let you withdraw until you make, I think it's, was it 2 or 3 times what was there? So they won't let you withdraw until you make that, and then they let you withdraw.
Wow. Wasn't aware of that one. So thanks for adding that in. All right. So the second question would be, how can I become more disciplined? So this is a pretty tricky one. Now, the first thing is you'd have to find, or what I recommend is to find out why it is that you're not following the rules that you have come up with. Why is it that you're either entering your trades before time, or you're closing them out before time, or you're exceeding your risk? Most times it's something that is interpersonal or a situation that you'll be going through. For example, you're strapped for cash and you decide, if I enter this with a larger lot size, then I'd be able to make twice or 3 times the amount, and therefore I'd be able to take care of whatever situation it is. But at the same time, you'd have to look that anything can happen for you to go in a drawdown. If it's even a 10 pip drawdown, it is possible. Now, with you over leveraging, then that might just blow your account or put you in a deficit, which would further increase the state that you're in, the mental state, which definitely would not be good. So I would say before you do a markup, before you take a signal, sit and come up with a plan as to what this week is going to be like. I'm going to go ahead and based on the signals sent to me, I'm just going to take 3 for the week, for example, right? And you should then be able to just take that and sit it out and say, okay, I'm done. Be it that you're still going to watch the group or not. That's entirely up to you. But one way to get more discipline is to make small promises, make small tasks, small agreements to say, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. This is what I'm going to do. I'm only going to do this. And the minute you're able to actually do it, you just do it repeatedly. And once you do it, it just becomes a part of you naturally. And then you'll find out that you in turn become more self-disciplined. The third question is, what lot sizes do I use for 100,000 account and $1,000 account? All right, so everyone is different, but for the trades that most of the trades that I would post, as I said, that going through this week, for some of the trades, I will actually post the profit that it's currently being made in the group. For that, it would be on the account that is over $100,000, and that one would be using a 0.50 lot size, and it would be across any instrument being traded. For the $1,000 account, I would say using a 0.10 lot size for that. The $100,000 account, yes, you can go larger than that, but that is what I'd use. Occasionally, I do use upwards of 5 or 10 lots. That's me personally, but I'd say, especially if you're going to do a challenge account at 100,000, then 0.50 would be perfect. Maximum would be like a 2 lots per trade. How do you come up with the moves that you give, be it scalping or overall take profit? All right, so firstly, just as the charts that I sent in the chat, that is how I analyze the markets. I may have taken some things out of the charts before sending it so as to not confuse persons, because I do use a lot of fibs and I mark up key support and resistance areas. Once I'm doing a scalping trade, it would be smaller entries on a larger trade. So for example, the gold trade that we sent just now, if we're doing just a scalp, then where take profit one was, that would have probably been just to take profit two, and we'll leave it at that. So a scalp is normally, for me, when we're looking at a trade, I would scalp a possible pullback, not a full pull. It doesn't have to be a full pullback, but once and I have an area of significance, then I would scalp an entry there, be it in the same direction or the opposite direction. And it's based off of the overall trend of the market to answer that part. All right, so another one is, what weekly percentage or profit do you aim for, and what percentage do you withdraw? All right, so I have presently, I use a compounding option. I have more than one accounts, but for the one that I actually have, I would say a rule on, that one is where I aim for 80 to 100% of my account for the month. And therefore break it down to weeks. So each week it would give me a dollar amount that I would need to make. And then I further break it down towards a daily amount. Now, for that, what I do in terms of the percentage is whatever the goal is, if I exceed that goal, then at that point, sometimes I take the entire excess, or sometimes it's just half of the excess and I just leave it to continue to grow. This one says, do you trade across multiple accounts with VPS? Yes, I do, because I have persons that I connect with, that I trade, not my personal accounts, but I have persons that from time to time I do trade across multiple accounts using a VPS. Outside of that, for my accounts that I trade across, I have them all on separate systems and I trade them manually. I just separate to say maybe this account is for crypto, and I use the others for regular forex pairs. Um, or I dedicate one. For example, my major account, my main account, I only trade gold on that account. So that is how I do it. Um, let's see. Next one would be, when do you, when do you use your negative 27 or negative 61.8? Negative 27 or negative 61.8 is used as the overall take profit. So therefore, once I'm in a trade and I mark it up and I'm going all the way, that is when I use it. So I would send it to you guys as well. I just won't say negative 27 or 61.8. Most times I refer to the negative, to the 61.8 as a long-term take profit. That is what I would do. How do you scale in on trades? So for that one, once I'm in a trade and I'm monitoring that trade, I only scale in on trades that I'm actively monitoring. So once I get, for example, a pullback to a zone, I will use that to add another position. Once it is that, that is the most time. So the pullbacks or the break and the retest of a zone is when I would normally add positions. And that's how I scale in on the trades. So next, this is the final one. It says, I noticed you took profits at fib levels 38, 23, and 0. Is that depending on scalp, the type of trade setup, or the time of day? All right, so this is a mixture, I would say, of each of those. So for the time of day, how that would be a factor is if the, let's say the volume is dying out because of the time of day that it is, then that would become a factor. So I would go ahead and take profit at each of those. If it is a case where, let's say the market is pretty volatile, so right at this moment it is moving, but it's giving off a lot of wicks. At that time, I use those because they're all key levels in the market. So at that time, I would just go ahead to say, okay, I'm going to be taking profits here with because there are key levels, as I said, and most times when you go to the 0 point, it can also be a place of a double bottom or a double top per se. So I always try to keep that one in mind. And that is why I would take profits at those. And it's mostly during scalp trades that I would do that. For my intraday trades, we would hold to the negative 27 or the negative 61.8. All right, so that would be it for the questions that I have written down. Any questions from any one of you guys before we hop to the next section?
Yeah, hey Nellis, I have a question. Um, for the brokers, does every broker kind of, I guess, require you to take withdrawals in Bitcoin, or can you take withdrawals with like US currency?
All right, so that depends on the broker. It's not every broker that requires you to do Bitcoin. You have brokers that will give you a fiat currency withdrawals as well. And you have some that gives you both options. So it's whatever you choose.
Got it. Got it. Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right, so
Um,
someone saying something?
yeah, hi, good evening. Oh, it's 9 over here. So I have a question. What broker do you use? I just noticed that you said TP1 has been smashed, but I looked at my MT4 and I saw that the candle wick touched the take profit, but it just retraced, and I didn't get that take profit. So I'd like to know what broker you use.
All right, so for the broker that I use Dominion Markets.
Come again, what?
Dominion Markets. After the call, I will send a link in the group. Let me make a note of it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And you can deposit with currency, bank transfers, and you can do crypto as well.
Hey, Nolis, I have a question.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'm looking at that the gold trade that you called. I was looking at your markup. That was off the 30-minute, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
I set a fib from that that low. I see it started retracing. It looked like it's retracing at the 38.2.
You put it from the low.
Yep. To that high, and it looked like it rejected off that 38.2 area.
All right, just a minute. Let me just put it up. All right, so you're able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you said you had your fib starting from here.
I started from the bottom. Yep, that swing low.
Okay, and we brought it up to here.
Yep.
Okay. All right, so if you're bringing it from bottom to top, then that means you're looking for the buy, right?
Yep, I'm already in the buy.
Okay, so it means that this would have shown that we got down to the 50 and then we're going up. So you're talking about this current rejection here?
Yep.
Okay, okay. Because what happened is that right here, this is also an area of interest. As you can see, rejected a few times here, price played around here as well. But based on this fib that you would have drawn, then that means you're looking for price to go in a similar area, TP1 at least, which should have been right here. So close to a TP that I shared as well. But yeah,
Because
you're correct.
I
So
set
this
mine.
is
I set mine for TP3. Would that be around the negative 61.8 area?
the TP3 that I sent.
Yes.
Let me just a minute. Let me hop back to that. Oh, 1828. Yeah, so it's right here. So it would be right below the 61.8. At times I do that because this is an area of interest right here, which is 1828. So it would give you a double top in this region. So it at least take you out in profit, and then you can see where it goes, because it can go sideways and just remain to be a double top while we're testing this trend line, which the ultimate thing that I'm looking for is for it to actually retest the trend line.
Okay. So this will be something like a swing, or tomorrow when we get volume during New York.
No, this should hit before,
Okay.
but we're waiting to see how it plays out.
Appreciate you.
All right, so let me take this one first. How do you decide which direction to draw your fibs? All right, so firstly, it depends on what it is that you're looking for. So if you're going to take, all right, we're on gold, so let's stay on it. For example, so you're looking at this chart, which is your gold chart, and you're trying to decide what the next move is going to be. First, you'd want an overall understanding of the direction of the market. So for this, you can clearly see that it is a downtrend. You get pullbacks and you get continuation. So if you're going to gauge it to say, okay, for example, I'm not sure, let's use this one, this is a clearer one. So right here, price came down and it rejected this area, and then it was doing a pullback. So what you would do then is you're trying to say, okay, if I draw a fib on here, I'm wanting to see how far price is going to pull back before it continues. So it would have been from a point A, which is here, because your one, this is where it rejected and it gave you this pullback. So you want to know how far this pullback is going to go, and then you'd use that to gauge to say, okay, where will my take profit be? So once you go ahead and you take it from the last high to the rejection, which have been the last low. So this is the fib right here. The white line right here is a 0. So from point A to point B, and then you get a pullback. Didn't quite hit 38.2 right here. And then you say, okay, so it gave me a pullback here and it rejected this area. And then it goes. If you're gonna look, if you're looking for a buy, then you would draw it from the bottom towards the top, and then you look for the pullback to continue in the buy. So where you end the fib would be what you're looking for. So if you're looking for a sell, you draw the fib from the top and you end it at the bottom. If you're looking for a buy, you draw it from the lowest point upwards to look for the buy. Another one said, can you explain how to flip a small account, $500? Well, all you have to do is to take the trades using proper risk. The maximum lot I would recommend for that one would have been a 0.05 if it is that you're only taking one trade, and that would be on a currency pair, not on gold. If you're taking more than one, then I would say you'd go to 0.02 for your lot size. You take a maximum of 4 trades. And if you're going to trade gold on a $500 account, then I would recommend 0.02 as your lot size.
Hey, Nolis.
Hey,
Hello?
Nolis, I got a question.
All right, so it's 2 persons. I have a question.
Hey, Nolis, I'm about to get me a funded account, a 12,500. As soon as we get off the Zoom, what would you recommend a good lot size? Because their rules is a 3% drawdown, daily drawdown, and a 6% overall. So what would you recommend like a lot size be?
What company is that or prop firm? Who's the person that asked the question? What firm are you using?
Say that again. I'm sorry. You had went out.
What's the name of the company or the firm that you're using?
Oh, Funded Trading Plus.
Okay, so that one is a bit tricky because I've never, you said 3%?
Yeah, 3% on daily drawdown, because they got 3 options. They got hold on, let me go to the thing. Hold on, what's
Alright, so that's $360 maximum.
they got experienced trader program, they got the advanced trader program, and they got master trader program. I just chose the the experienced one. That's the first one. But if you go to advanced trader program, then they give you daily drawdown and 10% overall drawdown. But I just chose the one that I can afford right now, so that's why I got the first one, the first level.
Okay, and all right, so for that one, the maximum based on the calculation is showing that you wouldn't be able to lose more than $360 in either a closing in a loss or a drawdown, right?
Correct.
So for that one, see on currencies, I would say don't go above 0.10, because even though you have a larger size account based on the
Mhm.
drawdown rules, you don't want to violate those. So I would say the maximum would be 0.10 on a currency pair, and you keep it at like a 0.07 for gold.
Okay, so you said 0.10 on the pairs, and 0.07 on the indices.
For gold, I'm not sure.
For gold.
Each broker is different when it comes to indices. So
Mhm.
for some, a 0.01 is very volatile, so it carries a lot of weight. On some, it's not like that. So you really have to test them out to see that. I've never used them, so I can't say what that part is like.
Right. And how long did it take from you when you started at 500, 6 figures? Like, how long did it take?
Well, I had some hiccups along the way, so all in all, it was probably about 5 to 6 months, if I'm getting it correctly.
That's dope, man. But because you stay committed, so that's a big deal.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Until someone asked, what settings do you use for trading your chart to look like that? Not sure if you mean the background. Just go to settings, appearance, and it's all here. You just click on the chart and go to settings, and you get all of them right here. Appearance, and it's there. All right. Could you explain the difference between MT4 and MT5? Could possibly affect the trade. So for me, the main difference I find is that MT5 is way faster in executing trades. It doesn't lag as much. Well, I haven't experienced lagging on it. So for me, it's really faster execution, plus it looks a whole lot cleaner, in my opinion. Outside of that, you don't get a whole lot of differences. Now, quite a few persons were asking me about the gold trades that we took. So let me see right here. So it all started right here. So this was the first entry that we did. When for trading gold or any pair at all, really, you do have to if you're not back testing and you're only doing from current price action, then you would need to just do your markups and your analyzing on spot and give it time, because you firstly want to understand how does this pair reacts, how does it trend, for example. So with that being said, I have, I'd say, somewhat of a fair understanding of how gold moves. So I keep abreast of it. Even if I'm not trading it, I keep abreast of it just to ensure that I'm always in the know with it. So with this, I was waiting for it to, the fact that it didn't break this area right here, I was waiting for a retracement. Now, all these were clean candles without rejection here, but right here, price rejected. So I was waiting for price to return to this area and to see the rejection that it's gonna give. This candle approached it, came pretty close, and then was rejected. And then this one came again and rejected. I gave the gold sell somewhere around here. And then we waited. There was a fib here. Well, it's still there. This one with a white hair, and this would have been the negative 27, which would have been TP1. In what I sent to you guys, this was TP3. Someone asked about scaling earlier. One way that I do it is just as you see here. So this is a trend line that I drew because I realized that this is an area. So when price rejected here, I drew the trend line and I was waiting on the break of a trend line and to see if I get a possible retest. When I got the retest to this trend line, which is also the bottom of this area, I added another position here. I believe this was one of the ones that I said sell no. This would have been afterwards. So once I say sell no, more than likely, it is a case where I'm scaling in on my personal account and giving you the option to do so as well, even after the trade has closed. So it closed us out with it hitting the TP1 here, but this is a trade that should hit TP2. So with it rejecting this area that it rejected in the past, as you can see from the left-hand side, I knew that it's possible for a retracement. It did this little retracement here and waited for the break once again, where we did an immediate sell, and it went to the TP2, which is right here, went a bit below, and it took profit. Now this green line here is take profit 1 from this fib. So this is an overall fib that was here from the beginning. So this is another confirmation per se. So I had the original fib that was here that I was trading, but then waited, entered it again, and you just add fib to go along. So it's just like trend line. So you want to keep abreast of where the market is going, what it is doing. So therefore, how you do it is you do it using trend lines or you do it using Fibonacci, right? So that is how I did it. So for this one here, I believe this was the second to last one that we did. All right, so price after it broke through here, this right here, as you can see, this is a red line, is an area of importance. I had it like this. So realize that it was price was sitting here, it broke, rejected, broke, came up, and it was being rejected heavily. And this is on the 1 hour time frame. So with it rejecting this area, it gave me another confirmation to say, okay, even though this fib, original fib that gave me TP2 right here was finished, it showed me that gold is not done with the sell based on it failing to break this point right here. And then realize that, okay, this little blue mark, yellow line going across is another area of importance as price is playing around there. Once I got the retest, so you remember, if you all can remember well, when I sent in this gold trade, right, idea, and I believe it was a sell, no, TP stop loss was at 80, I believe this was 1852, if I'm not mistaken, but stop loss was close here. This is a trade that someone said that they put in the wrong stop loss and got stopped out, reached out to me and I said, no, re-enter the trade. So this is it, because this wick, all this wick that was here. But remember that we were in this trade and a lot of persons, because you entered at different timing based on when you saw the signal, some were in drawdown more than some, but it was right in here because we entered right in this box, right? And we were sitting in drawdown for a while because these are all hourly candles. And we sat there and we sat there. But once we got the break, as y'all can remember, we were all fed. I used when price came to this area, which was also an area way back in time over here that was respected. That is why I drew this little trend line here. Drew it on a smaller time frame and I kept it. Price rejected, came back here. I believe this is where yeah, so we did another entry here. Someone had messaged me privately and asked, because remember this was TP2 and then the price rejected it based on what I sent to you guys, or it was yeah, it was TP3 and price rejected this area. Someone said, why not go for the buy because gold is buying? So the person there, free to take the buy if they want, but I'm not going to take it and I'm not going to send it because I don't see a confirmation for a buy, right? As some of you realize, so I drew the fib to say, okay, rejected from here. Let's see where it is going. It just came back to our 38 on the fib, and then it went and it gave us our take profit. Currently, no, it's consolidating. It went up, it took our TP1. Well, for some of us it did. And no, we're awaiting to see, is it going, oh, I deleted my ghost pattern. But this has not broken out of anything. For me to say that it's going to sell for right now, it would have to break below this area. So based on what I sent in the group, I'm just waiting for a pullback. This is a minor trend line. So I'm waiting to see, this area is of more importance as it relates to gold. So I'm waiting to see if I get a break above here to continue to this trend line. And then we look for another entry once it reaches there.
Hey, Notice, I got one more question for you.
Mhm.
I'm trading off my own personal account. I have KOT Forex, and I know a lot of people with different accounts, they experience different leverages and stuff. And this is the piggyback off of the previous question when one of your students, he asked what lot size were you using. With my account with the 1 to 500, what leverage would you recommend using for that?
All right, so I personally can't remember what it was like using your broker. I know I've used it a long time ago, but I would keep it the same to say for gold on a 500, we would do the 0.02, and on currencies we'd use the 0.05 for one trade. If you're doing multiple, you can go 0.03 or 0.02, because at the end of the day, you would want to take into account possible drawdowns, and also it has a lot to do with margins. So even if you should jump in on, let's say you took a gold trade with a 0.05, your broker may not allow you to enter another trade, even using the micro lot of a 0.01.
Because I used the 0.10, and I think that's equivalent to $1. I mean, it let me trade it, but that's just what I use.
It would let you trade it because of the leverage on the account, but using a 0.10 is quite risky on a $500 account. It's not as if you're gonna sit and watch it take it all out, but at the same time, you want to have leverage available in the account, and you don't want to over risk. So if you risk, for example, a $10 to make $30, it's better than risking $120 to make the same $120. It's not really worth it.
Okay.
All right, someone asked, when you send screenshots of charts, do we look at your analysis with the prediction bars and get in, or do we wait until we get a concrete signal from you? All right, so once I send a chart analysis, that's entirely up to you. For gold, if I send the analysis, I will send the entries. But for currency pairs, I send it so you can, because some persons can read a chart. A lot of persons said that they would like to see the charts. For gold, definitely I will send the entry. I will send them for currencies, but not all the time if I share a chart, because the reason I would share a chart is so that you can interpret it and decide for yourself how you're going to go about it as well. But if it's a case where I share it and it's not clear, then I will send the entries for that.
Hey, Knowles, I just had a question.
Sure.
So what lot size would you use for an FTMO challenge account for 100K with gold, if you're trading gold and when you're trading other currency?
You said 400K
No, 100K.
or 100. On that, the drawdown is what, 10%?
No, 5%.
Oh, 5.
Daily. Yeah.
Oh, 5. All right, let me do something real quick. Oh, so that's 5,000. All right,
Mhm.
so I would recommend going with a 0.50. You can
Right.
take it right across the board, but you can use that for gold, and for currencies, you
Okay.
can go up to 2 lots, dependent currencies except for GJ. GJ is almost as volatile as gold for a lot of brokers, so it really depends. So for that, you can use up to 2 lots for currency pairs, and for gold, you just do it a 0.50.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so quite a few persons was asking me about the prop firm that I posted about, which is Fiddle Crest. Now, the reason why, well, there are a few reasons why I use them or I prefer them over any other firm is, for one, the main thing that caught me was that when you're in phase two, you get either 40% or 50% off the profit that you make in phase two. And when you get to phase three, you get either 80 or 90%, depending on the model that you choose, because they have normal and they have aggressive. So um, that would determine the percentage payout that you use. So there, I find it that based on the platform that they use, it is really good as it relates to volatility on pairs as well. It's not ridiculous. Their spreads are pretty good as well. Well, for me, those would be the main thing, because persons in funded account normally tend to look at when they would get either their initial deposit or a payout. So the target, just like they have similar account sizes, like an FTMO, but FTMO, you pass phase one, phase two, and then when you make the profit in phase three, that's when you get a payout. With Fidelcrest, you get a payout once you make the profit. So if you're supposed to make $15,000 to pass phase two, once you make that in phase two, depending on the model that you chose, you either get half of that or you get 40% of that. And then you transition to phase three and you get either 80% or 90% of the profits. So I hope that answered the questions for the persons who were asking me about that. Now, as it relates to a bit of psychology in here, I recommend everyone to go to, there are a lot of sites that would do calculation for compounding for you. I personally use Forex21. You can go to the website forex21.com. For persons in their live accounts, I would say you just put in the amount that's in your account, and then you set it to say you're looking to get, you can choose a number. I'd recommend between 80 or 100% returns per month. And if you do that for 3 to 6 months, I would recommend 6 months at least. Then you will see a whole lot of benefit from your trading as it relates to profits. You try to keep that. You will have a schedule. It will give you the dollar amount that you should have at the end of each month. Now, once you're trading and you're reaching your goal, anything in excess of it, then yes, sure, you can go ahead and withdraw it. But I recommend using compounding to grow, especially if you have a small account. That will help to also instill a lot of discipline as it relates to trading. And you will see the results. So not because someone like me or others that you may know of hit a large amount in a short period of time means that you're gonna just go ahead and do it, even if you're using the signals that I send. Also, you're just taking signals, but once I send it, you have MetaTrader 4 or 5 or whichever one you use, right? It doesn't take anything for you to put in that same trade and then pull up the chart and look at it. That will give you an idea as to, okay, this could be a reason why he entered, could be a reason why he entered. And you do that across the signals that are sent to you, and you'll have a clear understanding of how I see and enter the markets, and you'd be able to even do it for yourself as well. So don't just take it because you're paying for it, but try to get something from it as well. Try to see it from my side. Try to get an understanding. Everyone understand things differently, and as such, you take it along your own path. Send some signals in the group. That's just the start of it. There's a whole lot more to come as the days go by rather. Market just opened a few hours ago. So we're waiting for confirmations as it relates to other signals. Um, Try to use appropriate lot sizes. Don't give in to greed, as some persons share. Persons make $30, $20, $10. So make a few hundred, so make a couple of thousand off of a signal. It just shows that it is being done. Just focus on what it is that you have. Focus on your account. Focus on what it is that you want to achieve out of this. And once you can come up with that, which is your why, then you just stay laser focused on it and you will get there. I'll try my best to give the best possible trade ideas so that we all can get where we want to go. The same trades I send to you, I do take those trades as well. Everyone that I send to you is a trade idea that I'm taking or going to take. So I'm not just sending it to say, okay, I just want to send it. And hence why I said for this week, I'll try to update you to show you based on the lot size that I'm using, what it looks like. That may help you to also gauge from your perspective, right? And you can understand as well. So when you enter a trade, for example, if you go into your MetaTrader and you hover over your take profit or your stop loss, it shows you the amount that you would make or you would lose should it hit one of those levels. You can use that to also determine based on your account size, am I willing to risk this amount or not? And if you're not, then you know you just go ahead and change your lot size using the same details that I sent to you, and you take it from there, a step at a time. Set a daily goal, set a weekly goal. If you don't want to put a dollar amount on it, you can just use the amount of trades. I'm only going to do 2 trades today or 3 trades today. It doesn't matter. And you just take them, decide which one you want to take, which one you don't want to, and you go along. All right. So for this one, we're going to be ending this call unless someone has a question for me. And this is where we would end it.
Is this going to be recorded? You're going to
Yes,
say put it in the group?
I'll be sending it in the groups after we're through. For the persons asking about the prop firm, I will also send that in the in the group. And the fourth is a prop firm, and for the broker that I mentioned, I'll have those sent in the groups for you.
You said it was for Fidela Crest, right?
Yes.
Copy.
All right. Hey, Knowles, I have one more.
Sure.
So, example, you have several stop loss. I mean, you have several take profits. So, if price hits your first take profit, do you actually take profit or you just adjust your stop loss?
All right. So personally, I don't take profit at take profit one. Take profit one is where I do one of two things or both. I either close a part of my position, or I move my stop loss into profits, or I do both.
Okay.
Yeah, so on your phones, if you're using your mobile phone and you hit close to close a trade, it will show you, or it will ask you if you want to close what percentage of it, and you can just type in the percentage. So if you're using, let's say for example, you're using a one lot, and you choose to close 50%, then you would only have a 0.50 lot remaining. So I suggest, if it's a case where you decide that, okay, you're going to hold for take profit 3, once I put an update that, hey, it has hit take profit 1, you can adjust your stop loss to make it a case where you're now in a safe trade, or you can take some profits off the table, or you can close. It's really dependent on each person.
All right. Thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Nonis, can I ask a question based on that question she just asked?
Sure.
So an example of the gold trade that's playing out where it wicked into TP1, what would you do now that it's doing a pullback? Would you adjust the stop loss, or you would have just adjusted the lot size?
All right. So firstly, once it is a case where, all right, so it hit my take profit, right? So it would have automatically closed me out in a positive, because once it hits take profit 1, I move my stop loss right above my entry for this particular one, right? So, and a matter of fact, once it's running in profit to a certain extent, you can also do it, because it's better to have it close you out in profit and you wait and re-enter, than for it to go all the way probably close to a take profit 1, 2, or 3, and then brings you back into negative. So for this one, I'm currently still monitoring it because it took me out based on the fact that my stop loss was moved up. But if you're still in it, let me see where I had the stop. So it was 1808.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So for this one, we could put a stop at 1805.60. Yeah. 1805. So it's right below this red area here. Right here.
Okay. So you'd have adjusted the stop loss to be 1805.
Yeah, based on the fact that I missed the point to actually take it out, to actually
Okay.
move it up rather.
Gotcha.
Right, but it should still stay above or 0. Worst case scenario above here, because I'm still looking for the push up first before the continuation of the sell, the
Okay.
overall sell, that is.
So Just and this mightn't sound like a noise question, no, but like how you gave 3 TPs, do you
Mhm.
put in 3 trades to take for each TP, or is it that you just go all the way to the TP3, put in a MetaTrader to take profit at TP3, and then you monitor and you close at when you reach certain year levels for your different TP1 and 2?
All right. So personally, why I do it is because each person is different. You have some persons who just want to make a profit from the market. TP1 is always the safest and would have been the surest one once I send it, right? So it gives someone to say, okay, whatever it's at take profit one, I'm okay with that. I'll take that for the day and I'm good. So that's persons who more than likely would do like a scalp. Then they would take for the take profit one, right? And then you have take profit two, because sometimes it does take some time to actually get there, right?
Right.
So that is why I give multiple levels. So if instead I just gave one take profit, then some persons would probably get impatient. Or if I just said, okay, like some company, they normally do just 10 to 20 pips and that's it. The
Oh,
trade is
okay.
done. You understand? So with TP one, two, or three, it's your choice. You can't put all three in. So you choose which one, or you choose, okay, I'm gonna just put in take profit three, but if I see probably a reversal or whatever and I don't like it, I will hop out in profit. That's completely up to you which one you want to use. But if you put in take profit one or two, once it gets there, the trade is just going to close out. And as you can see, this is take profit one, which is 56 pips
Right.
on
Right.
gold.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks a lot, Noise.
Yeah, man, no problem. All right, so we're gonna end this here for tonight. Once the recording is finished converting, I'm going to drop it in all the groups. And for the links, I'm gonna drop them in all the groups as well. And yeah, that should be it. Look out, just keep your phones on alert for the trade ideas coming. Most of them would be probably at the beginning of London, because most times you have a higher volume at the close of Asia into the beginning of London. So you can just stay abreast for those signals. All right.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Noel.
Noel.
Hey,
All
no,
right,
hey,
fellas, appreciate it.
Notice
Thank
one
you.
last question. Do you offer a one-on-one?
Uh, I'm in deliberation with that one. I really have to speak with my mentor on that. We're finalizing an agreement. So for that one, I won't be able to answer it right this minute.
Gotcha.
All right. Anything
Thank you.
else, y'all can just send me a direct message or reach out to me in the group. I'll be right there.
Thank you.
Knowledge.
Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye now, guys.
Good night.